We are live now. With all your permission, I am starting this session. Good afternoon, everyone present. I am Faraz from ITCP. Welcome all the participants on today's webinar. Let's welcome today's speaker with great honor, none other than Dr. R. Sudha ma'am. And let me share some of the achievement of ma'am. Ma'am is forensic expert at Government Medical College, Nizamabad, Telangana. And today she is going to speak on a topic, forensic aspects of alcohol and driving. By taking not much time to know about the details about the topic, I would like to invite ma'am and hand over this session to ma'am. Over to you, ma'am. Kindly proceed from here.
Okay. Good morning, all of you. All the participants, I welcome you, all the participants. My today's topic is alcohol and the driving skills. The most important quote about the alcohol is, first you take a drink, then the drink takes you, then finally the drink takes you. So you know about the recent liquor scam, which has become the headline news in newspapers and media. I want to share some of the details. In the old liquor policy, the wholesale price of 750 ml of liquor is 163.73, excise duty 222.88, VAT 106, and the retail commission is 33.39. So total the MRP comes to 530 rupees. But as per the new liquor policy, which is implemented in March 22, the 750 ml of wholesale price is 188.4.1, excise duty 1.88, VAT 1%, retailer margin 362. Additional excise duty, excise fee is 4.54. So the total MRP coming to 560 rupees. Thus, in the old liquor policy, the government's earning on a bottle is 329.89, and in the new liquor policy, it is only 8.32. That is a loss to the government of 321.57 per bottle from a new policy. In the old policy, the retailer's commission would be 33.39, whereas in the new policy, the retailer commission was 363.27 for a few months. That is profit to the retailer of 330.12 per bottle. In the old policy, where the sale of liquor was 132 lakhs liters per month, in the new policy, the sale of liquor per month is 245 lakhs liters. But the sale has almost doubled up because of the new permissions granted for the retailers. To increase the sale, the drinking age has been reduced to 18 years and the time has been increased to till AM. Before that, the age was 21 years and it is only in the evening hours up to 10 to 11 PM. Dry days have been reduced from 31 to only 3 days. Previously, the dry days were 31, so that the alcohol consumption is maximized. Now coming to in India, the consumption of alcohol is prohibited in the states of Bihar, Gujarat, Nagaland, and Mizoram. There is partial ban on alcohol in some district of Manipur. All other Indian states permit alcohol consumption, but fix a legal drinking age, which ranges as different ages per region. This is about the map showing about the driving age in different states. In some state it is 18, in some it is 21, and it is 21. And the black area showing the banned areas. These are the countries where the liquor is totally banned. Even though some of the countries, the liquor ban is total, but still people are consuming getting illegal sales. Some states like Kerala or Tamil Nadu prohibit private parties from owning liquor stores, making the state government the sole retailer of the alcohol in those states. In some states, the liquor may be sold at groceries, departmental stores, banquet halls, or farmhouses. What is a dry day? Dry days means there are some specific days when the sale of alcohol is not permitted. Most of the Indian states observe these days on major national festivals, occasions such as Republic Day, Independence Day, Gandhi Jayanti, etc. Dry days are also observed during the elections in India. Coming to the taxation, most states levy either value added tax, VAT, or excise duty, or both. Excise duty is a tax levied to discourage the consumption of the product. It is calculated on per unit basis, meaning if you buy 1 liter of liquor, you pay a fixed excise duty of rupees 50. VAT means charged in proportion of the product. If your bottle costs about 100 rupees and the state levy 10% of the VAT, that is the price increases to 110. AP, Telangana, Kerala, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu consume as much as 45% of the liquor sold in the country. Nationally, Maharashtra charges the highest rate but draws only a portion of its revenue from its sale. Now, actually coming to what is drunkenness, it is the condition produced in a person who has taken alcohol in a quantity sufficient to cause him to lose control of his faculties to such an extent that he is unable to execute safely the occupation in which he was engaged at that particular time. These are the various types of beverages like beer, malt, wine, brandy, whiskey, vodka, different. The maximum percentage is in arrack and vodka. These are the stages of alcohol. Stage of sober, where the blood level of alcohol is up to 50 milligrams %. Stage of euphoria, 50 to 100. Stage of excitement, 100 to 150. Stage of incoordination, 150 to 200. Stage of stupor, 200 to 300. Stage of coma, 300 to 500. And death, more than 500. And the most important medical legal aspects of these stages is the person is prone for accidents or involvement in the crime is in second and third stages. That is stage of euphoria and excitement. As per the NCRB report 2013, 15 people die every day due to alcohol intoxication and 1 every 96 minutes from the effects of drinking alcohol. WHO per capita consumption of alcohol in India increased to 38% from 1.6 liters in 2003 to 5 to 2.2 liters in 2010-12. So day by day, the consumption of the alcohol is increased in the country. Accordingly, the sales are also increased. 11% of the India were the big drinkers against the global average of 16%. Coming to our actual medical legal aspects of alcohol related crimes. The first and foremost one is alcohol and driving. Next, the assaults, homicides, suicides, sexual assaults, domestic violence, and robbery. As per the Motor Vehicle Act 1988, Section 185A says the legal limit in India is 30 milligrams per 100 ml. And punishment for the first offense, if the person is caught drunk, it is for 6 months with 10,000 rupees of fine. If it is on the second or subsequent offenses, 2 years imprisonment with 15,000 fine. Section 185 states that if he is under the influence of any other drugs like cannabis, heroin, LSD, etc., it can be punished same as the above. Section 202 says arrest with warrant. Section 203 breath test. Section 204 other laboratory tests. The only safe option is not to drink if you plan to drive. So what is the effect of alcohol on a person or individual who is driving? Nowadays, safe driving on a crowded highways and in heavy traffic roads is a complex matter, which involves complicated constellation of bodily and cerebral functions. The components of these functions are perception, comprehension, and overall physical performance during a driving. All these functions are vitiated in a person who is under the influence of alcohol. Alcohol first interferes with the safe driving in the following ways. Number one, it increases the reaction time. After imbibing one large whiskey, a person requires 15% more time to apply brake or swing a wheel in an emergency. So, if a person is, suppose a vehicle is coming in the opposite direction suddenly, a drunk person needs 15% more time to apply brake. And number two, it creates a false confidence. I told you in the second stage of euphoria, which gives a false confidence, a little alcohol has double the effect of making him drive worst, as it creates euphoria, and a bad driver thinks that he is a good driver. So he will increase the speed and with his overconfidence. Number three, it impairs concentration, dulls judgment, and degrades the muscular coordination. Alcohol makes drivers to take more and cause their attention easily diverted. So, an alcoholic person in euphoria becomes more talkative. That's why he will be easily diverted. Even little quantity of alcohol, that is in stage 1 of intoxication, hampers the subject's capacity to decide when he can or when he should. This deterioration in judgmental capacity appears before reaction time is affected or the mechanical driving skills are impaired. So, with moderate drinking, the driving skills are impaired. But even with little alcohol or even in the first stage, initial stages, there will be decrease in the decision-making capacity. Number 4, it decreases the visual and auditory acuity. Moderate drinking decreases the visual acuity. It produces effects like wearing sunglasses in the darkness. Hence, it needs much illumination to visualize the objects. So the vehicle coming in the opposite direction or the other objects coming, he cannot recognize unless the objects are very much illuminated. Moreover, when sharp light falls on his eyes, it takes long time to regain normal visual function. And alcohol reduces the peripheral vision. So the driver's ability to spot a vehicle or spot a pedestrian coming from the roadside, side roads, is hampered. So he cannot see the vehicles coming on the side roads due to decrease in the peripheral vision. These are the legal limits in other countries, where in banned countries it is 0. In India and Japan it is 30. In Australia, Netherlands, France, Greece is 50. In US, New Zealand, Spain, Canada, Germany 80. And Swaziland 150. Coming to alcohol and homicide, 58% of the homicide victims, 45% of the victims are fatal vehicular crashes, 26% of the suicide victims are related to the alcohol intoxication. So if a person before going for committing suicide, he may consume alcohol to get some courage. Similarly, in homicides and also in other related crimes. Human faculties like emotional stability, conscience, intellect, and common sense deteriorates or disappears in the presence of alcohol. Simultaneously, presence of other drugs like marijuana, LSD, and other hallucinogens are also not uncommon. These are the two sections related to the alcohol. Section 85 IPC. Persons intoxicated against his or her will, they are not responsible for the criminal actions. So if somebody without his knowledge or non-knowledge intoxicate a person, then he is not responsible for the crime. Section 86 IPC says persons gets intoxicated under his or her will, they are responsible for the criminal actions. Next action is misconduct in the public by a drunken person. Misconduct in the public by a drunken person under section 510 IPC. Whoever in a state of intoxication appears in any public place or in any place which it is a trespass in his to enter, and there conducts himself in such a manner as to cause annoyance to any other person, shall be punished with a simple imprisonment for a term which may extend to 24 hours or with a fine which may extend to 10 rupees or both. Offense against the woman. Alcoholism plays a major role in 70 to 85% of the offenses against the woman. National Crime Record Bureau survey data, 2026 girls and women in 2004 were sexually exploited. 1,423 were kidnapped. 1,286 were raped. 11,206 faced several forms of violence and crime. Around 83% of the women whose husbands often get drunk have experienced domestic or sexual violence compared to 34% of those whose husbands do not drink. It shows that the drinking pattern plays a crucial role in the degree of violence in the state. There are studies on the wives of alcoholics. According to the study conducted by Dr. Neena Sawant, Coping with the Drinking, a study in the wives of alcoholics. The samples consist of 50 women who means age is 32.6 years, 68% of the housewives. 78% had either primary or secondary education and 22% were illiterate. The total duration of alcohol consumption in the husband ranged from 38% who were drinking for 1 to 10 years and 48% for 11 to 20 years and 14% for 21 to 30 years. Only 34% of them consume alcohol in the evening, whereas the rest consume throughout the day. 42% of the husband used to quit or withdraw after consumption, whereas 58% of them were used to become abusive, assaultive, talkative, aggressive under the influence of alcohol. The coping behavior, when each component of the coping with drinking questionnaire was analyzed, then the most commonly used coping mechanisms are discard, avoidance, assertion, anti-drunk, and taking special action. Occasionally used coping mechanisms include indulgence, sexual withdrawal, fearful withdrawal, and marital breakdown. None of the wives in our samples, however, used competition as a coping behavior. There was another topic which is drug-facilitated sexual assaults. Section 328 IPC deals with the administration of any poison, stupefying, or intoxicating agent with the intent to cause hurt or facilitate the commission of an offense. The punishment is 10 years with fine. Commonly used drugs to facilitate the sexual assaults are alcohol, which is widely used in pubs and clubs. Next is chloral hydrate. Next, rohypnol, which is called date rape drug, and gamma hydroxybutyrate, ketamine, other ecstasy drugs. Next, coming to the robbery and violent crimes. Robbery and violent crimes often involve alcohol use, and there is a positive correlation between such crimes and alcohol. 15% of the robberies, alcohol is involved. 63% of the intimate partner violence incidences. 37% of the sexual assaults. 45 to 46% of the physical assaults, and 40 to 45% of the homicides in the United States involve the use of alcohol. Coming to Hush tragedy, this is a tragedy in West Bengal where the alcohol was mixed with the methyl alcohol, and many people died due to this spurious liquor. And the most important one is a doctor attending the patient in a drunken condition. Suppose the doctor attends the patient in a drunken condition or under the influence of alcohol, it comes under misconduct, which can be punished with the removal of his name from the medical register, either it is temporary or permanent removal. So to conclude, nothing short of total prohibition can save the people from the drink evil, as Mahatma Gandhi said. Thank you very much. Any questions, please? Video.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for giving your valuable time and sharing your knowledge with us and making this session informative one, ma'am. I definitely think this session knowledge is going to help all the participants during the practice also. And ma'am, we have received some question. The first question is from Dr. Agarwal. He is asking, what are the ethical consideration for healthcare professional when dealing with patients who may pose a risk of to themselves or other due to the alcohol misuse or driving?
See, as per the law, if a patient comes to the hospital in a drunken condition, there is a proforma or a legal proformas which can be followed to estimate his blood alcohol level with the breath analyzer test. Accordingly, he can be treated and a police complaint can be given if he involves in a crime. Okay. Any next question?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for answering this question, ma'am. I hope it will be helpful to Dr. Agarwal. Moving forward, the another question is, ma'am, what are the potential medical complications associated with chronic alcohol abuse and how might this impact an individual fitness to drive?
Yes. As per chronic side effects, liver cirrhosis is the common side effects complication. And as the alcohol is an inebriant drug, it will influence the driving skills and the capacity. Better if he is having all these complications, better to avoid driving. That is the only remedy. So that's why even in
Yes,
the
ma'am.
traffic boards, we can see the traffic boards, don't drink and drive. That is the only thing we can do. And we can send the patient for rehabilitation centers or de-addiction centers.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing your insight in this question, ma'am. We
Thank
have another question, ma'am. Can you explain the legal blood alcohol concentration, that is BAC limits for driving in our jurisdiction and how they correlate with impairment and accident risk?
Yes, the legal limit is 30%. As I mentioned, section 185, the legal limit is 30%. That is for the drivers, for vehicles and drivers. But in aviation, in a pilot, the legal limit should be almost zero. He is not supposed to take a drop of alcohol. That is the link. And the other thing is when usually they are analyzed with the breath analyzer or blood alcohol levels estimation in the hospitals. Accordingly, if the blood alcohol level, depending on the blood alcohol levels, they may be sent for counseling or to the de-addiction centers.
Yeah, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for answering all the questions of the participant, ma'am. I hope that you have done justice to this topic, ma'am, as we are able to solve all the queries. So we don't have any more question, ma'am. As we don't have any more question, ma'am, with all your permission, shall we conclude this session for today?
Yes, thank you so much.
Welcome, ma'am, and take care of yourself, ma'am. Hope to see you again with